This is the best menu. I can't even explain it. The best menu music for Nickelodeon Kart Racers. This is better than the second one, at least far as the menu music. But before we get started, I'm gonna just bring the roster up so people can see characters in the game. It's so catchy. Let's just do something. Let's pick anything. I did everything else in the game. Let's do it. See? There's nothing else left in the game. Let's just pick something. So this is the characters that we have in the game. We're just gonna leave it on the screen throughout the video. But today, I thought I'd do something a little bit different and talk about more Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3. I was hoping to see it yesterday, but we didn't get it. It's so catchy. It's starting. But Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3, I'm gonna just go ahead and start just doing some predictions, and then also in this video, I'm gonna be talking about an items list, wish list that I came up with, just a couple items that I wanted to mention for this, and then also some characters. We're gonna talk about the characters. But games like this, you know, obviously from what you can see, it's like 12 characters, 3, 6, 9, 12. You got SpongeBob reps, Rugrats, Hey Arnold, and then the Ninja Turtles. So SpongeBob, Rugrats, Hey Arnold, and Ninja Turtles. Only 4 shows represented from this first game. It's just only the beginning, at least for the first set of games. But you would think that they would have more characters for this. But just for starters, since we didn't get the Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3, the trailer from yesterday's THQ showcase, I guess our next destination could be Gamescom, and they did tease, like, I know it's not Nickelodeon related, they teased a South Park game, so maybe that's probably going to be one of many other potential reveals. Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 along with South Park and other things that they have in store for Gamescom. So my little prediction, just a little speculation, we're probably going to see that trailer soon, maybe by surprise, maybe within the next week. If it's not at Gamescom, maybe it'll be like a surprise drop, but Gamescom seems like it'll be more ideal since they're going to be showing other games. And considering the fact that Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 is not by THQ, it's by Game Mill, we don't know what they're going to do. So it's a good little event. It's the next big gaming sort of expo that we'll be able to find out maybe some more things and more information about Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 with a potential trailer, a reveal, and more. So possibly this could be at Gamescom, but maybe we don't know. Hopefully something soon. So I think it's coming soon. All things considered, we already got the leaks for 40 plus racers and voice acting and so much more. We got the price and we got the release date. I think it was October 6th or October 7th, but early October, it's going to be so much fun playing this game. But now, this is just a little bit of a short predictions of when I think I'm going to see maybe possibly the Kart Racers 3 trailer. We don't know for sure when, but hopefully something soon. I want to see the characters, I want to see some gameplay and more. But maybe we could see it very soon as far as the Gamescom. But August 23rd, I think that's when it starts. But let's start talking about some items that I put. And these items that I talked about and mentioned, it's going to be in the description. And then what I'm also going to do, I'm going to copy my list of characters that I want to see in the game. And I'm just going to talk a little bit more about these certain characters and more in just a little while. But first, I wanted to talk about some items. Let's start talking about some items, because no one else is talking about the items. We're all talking about characters. What about some of the items y'all want to see in the game? And I wanted to reference some brand new items, like Rocket Star, the Explorer Stars from Dora the Explorer, if they make it in. And just something else in general, I think Nick Jr. characters deserve to be in the Nickelodeon Kart Racers game. Why not? You know, if they're not going to be a Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, why not put them in the Kart Racers? You could see Dora, I could see Dora the Explorer behind the wheel and you see some of that stuff in the show when you watch the episodes. They're riding boats and carts and all types of stuff and trains. Why not put her in a game? So the Explorer Stars from Dora the Explorer, they have different abilities. They specialize and have different powers. But I selected one particular Explorer Star called Rocket Star. I did some research just to try to get the right power star, or basically the Explorer Stars from Dora the Explorer. They always usually are called upon to help Dora throughout her adventure throughout that particular episode. Each star or each Explorer Star has their own special ability. So I selected Rocket Star, and his ability is to blast off. And when Dora and Boots and company needs it, that Rocket Star is there for them to help them. So I thought the Rocket Star would be something very unique to take from Dora the Explorer's world or her universe to implement it as an item. So you get an extra boost of speed using the Rocket Star. And since it has voice lines, these power stars, or these Explorer Stars, more like it from Dora the Explorer, they always talk and they laugh. So each time you use it, you can have like a little reaction from the Rocket Star. So I thought this would be pretty fun to be added into my little items wish list. So I'm just doing different worlds. I wanted to at least touch upon different universes for my items, and it's not the same items from the same shows. I wanted to come up with some of them and just for some unique ideas. But Magic Chalk from Chalkzone. Anybody remember the Chalkzone? Who's got the chalk? I love this show, and I don't see many people talk about Chalkzone. So I selected Magic Chalk, so the Magic Chalk could create chalk dust when used, and then if you run into the chalk zone, if you run into the chalk dust, it'll blur the player's vision and their screen for a while. So I thought that'll be a nice little effect for the Magic Chalk, because when you use like the erasers or something like that, it creates chalk dust. So I thought that might be a nice idea for the Magic Chalk, for a little bit of a screen effect to blur the character's vision or whoever's playing. If you run into it, you're not gonna be able to see. The vision's gonna be blurred, and you're gonna have a hard time trying to steer and try to stay on track. You might end up falling off the track or activating another trap that you can barely see. The developers can really make that Magic Chalk really work with some of these characters from Chalkzone that they can probably get in, whether it's Snap, Rudy Tabooty, Penny, or whoever. And then, since we know that Garfield is in the game, according to the leaked box art, Garfield is officially a part of the game in the roster, I selected the pies. Maybe some pies from Garfield that he throws in the Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. Maybe some of the pies that can be used from the show. It could work similar to the football. And I was thinking about Hey Arnold, because the football in Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2, it will home in on the target. So whoever's in front of you, it's only a matter of time before it catches up to you. Almost similar to how a red shell does in Mario Kart. But the pies are going to work a little bit differently. It's going to work similar to the football from Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2, or the red shell and what have you. But the pie, when you get splattered with the pie, just a little funny effect I came up with, the pie remains are going to be sliding on your screen for a few seconds. So it'll probably get in the way of your vision, almost similar to how the Magic Chalk does, but it's going to have pie bits of pie, or pieces of pie sliding on your screen that's going to remain on your TV or your screen for a while. So a nice little homing item. And then Fairly Odd Parents, I'm not sure if they're going to make it in. I'm not sure. I would love to see Fairly Odd Parents representing this game for Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3. I hope so. But I wanted to get an item. I was thinking about the magic wand, but instead I selected the rules book, where it could be a huge trap. So you see how you open a book, or you open a textbook or a novel, you're reading the book, it could be some kind of huge trap that you could place the rules book and to ensnare the opponent or anybody that's coming up behind you. And when you run into it or you drive right into it, it'll ensnare the opponent, and when activated, it'll close and shut itself, and then you'll be trapped in there for a while. But you have to be quick and rapidly press on any button to try to escape. You could push the accelerate button or just the item, whatever, maybe the circle button or whatever, any sort of button, regardless of what you change your control schemes to. You press any button to rapidly escape the rules book. So it'll be a nice little trap that you could place to slow people down, maybe someone that's catching up to you. Rubber banding AI, just for some ideas. The rubber banding AI that's right on you. You could just throw the rules book out and it'll ensnare them and it'll trap them, keep them off your tail and off your trail for a while until they can escape it. And then, even though this item is not new, I selected the soda pop from Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2, but it's from Hey Arnold. And when you drink the soda, you would get a huge speed boost when you use it. So I think it was from Hey Arnold. I could be wrong. Someone could probably correct me if it's not the right item. But the soda pop, I would like to see that make a return. Just one little old item from the previous games that I can think of that I put into my list. So you get a huge boost when you drink the soda pop. And then, since we now know that Ginny Wakeman is going to be in the game, based on the cover leak with Garfield, why not get an item from My Life as a Teenage Robot? I selected Ginny's homing rocket. So this rocket can track any racer that's in front of you, and then you can also fire it from behind. So if somebody's in second place and still on your trail, in the rules book doesn't stop them, it's going to be different, because this particular rocket might sound a little bit overpowered. It'll track the person that's in second place. So somebody that's behind you, you could shoot that rocket and it's going to target them and lock onto them. So they might have that person in second place that's trailing you. They might want to have some kind of defensive item or some kind of protection that they can use, and maybe it'll force their hand, and you could be able to use one of the items that can only be fired in front of you. So it'll cause them to sacrifice their defensive item to be forced to use that. Maybe it's like a defensive shield or whatever item that they're holding in reserve. Or maybe some kind of item that they're going to use on you if you were close enough, but they can use it to counter and put a stop to Ginny's rocket. So I thought this would be a nice little item. So whether you want to use, do you use that defensive shield, or do you reserve it, take the hit, and then keep the shield or keep the item that you have, and then still have a chance to catch up and try to claim first place? It'll really put some pressure on the racer and other players that's in second place and more. I don't know if that sounds overpowered, but it just seems like it'll be something nice to really utilize something from My Life as a Teenage Robot from the show. And then Jimmy Neutron, I think he's gonna be in this game, at least from what I've seen. I can't even find it anymore though, but if they get Jimmy Neutron in the game, how about his rocket? Or basically his jetpack. And just this invention, he has so many inventions in the show, they can definitely put it into the game. The jamming jetpack. The jamming jetpack is Jimmy Neutron's jetpack invention. And with this particular jetpack, just to share, it can autopilot for you. It can autopilot you for several seconds to help you catch up. And it made me think of Arnold's special, because in this game, I'm about to get ready to talk about it, these characters have specials. Arnold's pigeons, the pigeons from New York, he has the pigeon special that allow him to autopilot and get a boost, and he's also he gets the boost and he's being piloted throughout the track for a few seconds, so you don't really have to control anything. So I thought Jimmy Neutron's jamming jetpack, this would be a nice little touch for the game. And then just one more thing I want to mention before I start talking about characters. What about character item specials? To see what I just talked about, that's one of his specials, and his special attacks or special items. They don't have those specials, and this is something that's different about this game. Even though it gets a lot of slack, well, it's not as good as the second one, obviously. But these characters, SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, Tommy, Angelica, Reptar, Michelangelo, Helga, Arnold, Raphael, Leonardo, and Donatello, each of these 12 characters, they have their own unique specials. And just with Angelica, for example, I think she has one of my favorite ones in the game. She's one of my favorite characters anyway. Hopefully she makes it back in. Angelica had a special with 3 cookies, in which within each cookie that she eats, she gets a speed boost. She eats one cookie, she gets the boost. She eats another cookie, another boost. And then it's like she's carrying 3 boosters. And you could actually save these cookies if it's not taken away from her by a Mouser and stolen away, of course. You can utilize the special to catch up when need be. So somebody catching up on you, she's right behind you, you can use her special with these cookies. I think she has one of my favorites in the game, with the cookies that she loves from the show. I want to see character item specials make a return in Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3. So even though it's just like a little list of items, I don't want to just make it too long. But the biggest thing for me, I would like to see these character specials make a return. And it's just with all this potential stack roster that it's going to have. Imagine all these different characters having different specials. I don't know if they're going to do it though, because it's not listed in the details. But we don't know. We don't know other hidden details. Is it going to have a story mode or a campaign or an arcade or some sort where you can unlock these characters, boss fights, and more? I want to see most of that stuff in the game. But I want to see the specials return. These special attacks, because that's something that I think that this game has over the second game. Even though it's a lack of character roster and modes and more things to do in the game, they have each individual special unique skills that they can activate. So I would like to see something like that. You know, not just with Angelica's cookie specials. Reptar has the fireballs, and then I think one of these characters had this pizza specials. Michelangelo has his nunchucks. Raphael using his size. There's so much more. And Donatello has some inventions. He has like a 3 item, a all-in-one sort of thing. He got wings that he can activate to fly, to get some kind of flight boost. Then he has a barrier, and then something else that he throws forward that can attack the other racers. But there's so much that they can do. And then Patrick has the rocks, those little rocks that he throws, or pebbles, whatever you call them. But I think they're rocks. The rock specials. But that's something that I really want the most outside of just these items in the game. I want these characters to have specials. But now I want to start talking about some of these characters now. And now that we got the items out the way and started talking about those. But the one thing for me is like, I don't want to see all these the same characters. I want these all characters to make it in. So you already got 12 characters of 12 of the 40 plus characters. Is this game gonna have DLC? And then just looking at these modes and these Grand Prix Cups, I want to see more of this make a return. But this, see how long it is? Let's see. How many tracks does this? The Remix Cup. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 tracks. You got 8 tracks for these. These 3 are the longest, because everything else has 4. You got 8 tracks. I want to see some more Grand Prix Cups get in, but I want them to be locked, because these Grand Prix Cups was locked. The Orange Cup, Remix Cup, Slime Cup, they were locked, because you had to complete these other cups. I would like to see more unlockables. Is it going to have DLC? Maybe they could come out with DLC cups. DLC Grand Prix DLC, something like that. And Crash Nitro Fuel, if I'm not mistaken, they came out with different updates to represent different Grand Prix, but they stopped doing it, of course. They could do something like that for Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3. Not even just with a character, maybe a new character could come out, can come out as the new Grand Prix is going on. New characters, new Grand Prix that you can unlock. There's so many characters. Let's get some DLC. I hope they don't just bring it out and just drop it and leave it alone and not add into it. You know, we got people, it's been a while since we had a Kart Racers 2 or Kart Racers game. I just so happened to recently get into them and start playing them. But it needs so much more. So I'm hoping that they can just add more into it. Not even just the time trials. They're fun to do. I always have fun doing these. But you can have boss fights to unlock them. Let's get some DLC. So you could be able to pick and choose what you want to do. Because then with this game, it's just lacking with not much to do now. Because I did most of the cups. But just some Nick Jr. characters. Let's get some Nick Jr. reps in the game. Jimmy Neutron, I want to see. We already know Jenny Wakeman and Garfield are confirmed. And I want to see some of these Chiefs that move up. I want to see the Chiefs move up, graduate to the racers to become playable characters. Let's just click on something. Yeah, here it is. Team race. This is something else that's not in the second game. Let's get team race to make a comeback. That'll be perfect. Get some more modes. Team race is not even in the second game. So I only hope that they add more into the game, you know, just for free updates. Even if they want to do paid DLC, that's cool too. I'm buying the characters if they do add them. New Junior reps definitely deserve to be in it. Jimmy Neutron, and it's just some of the Chiefs that I mentioned, or just some of the characters that from Nickelodeon Kart Racers too. Chiefs like Zuko, Plankton, April, Mr. Krabs, and many more. I want to see those characters graduate from becoming Chiefs. Some of those Chiefs and support engineers, they should be playable characters. Phoebe from Hey Arnold, that'll be cool. They got Mr. Horse from Ren and Stimpy. I want to see him be a playable character too. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if they're going to get live action characters. And just something else that's random, JoJo Siwa, I didn't even know who she was until I started playing the second game of Nickelodeon Kart Racers 2. I didn't know who that was. So what's stopping them from probably getting a guest character or maybe another live action character? She could probably make a return in the game. But let's get everybody that's in the game from the other games back in, but let's make them become playable racers and let's expand the roster. So it's not just the same characters from that one particular show being focused. We got all these other reps and modern shows that I haven't even seen. Sanjay and Craig, people want to see. I haven't even seen that show. Sanjay and Craig, Harvey Beaks. There's so many shows that I haven't seen, but I want to see El Tigre, some of my favorites. Just I just talked about Chalkzone. Let's get a Jimmy Neutron rep. Let's get him in the game. Let's get some other characters in. They have a lot of characters that they can expand and continue to add on to the game. So it's just with modes in general, it can really allow people to continue to play unlockable characters, boss fights. I did like the boss fights from the second game. I want that to come back. There's so many things that I want that they have from both games. It's particularly the character specials in this game, and then the music and the tracks. The music in this game is not that good, except for the menu music in comparison to Kart Racers 2, but it's just so many things I want to see. And I just really hope they expand, they add DLC, they don't just leave it and as it is. Let's just drop the game and we won't update it. They won't add anything else. They'll just do some patches here and there and just leave it for dead. That's how they're going to lose players and people are going to stop playing the game. And that's when, I'm just going to say it, that's when the game is going to become dead. And something else I want to mention before I close out, let's get some crossplay online. I hope it has some online multiplayer, and then we can do some online team mode just like I just showcase on the screen. I want to see more, because this game doesn't even have online. It says multiplayer, but it's only local. It's local only. But I'm just excited to see what the trailer's going to be like, and just for the characters. Crossplay is something that I would hope that they would really consider, so everybody can play together, race against each other, new connections, make new friends, and have fun. It's just something that I think this game would definitely really be able to prosper with. Crossplay, and even if it isn't crossplay, DLC, consistent updates, communication for sure, and be able to let us know what they're gonna add. They could come out with a roadmap for their plans. That gives me another idea. It's just a roadmap of what they want to do, and maybe some plans of what they can add for potential characters. I might do that in a separate post. But it's just one of many things that they can do to expand, to make the game last long. And considering the fact it's the new Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3, it could be one of the best racing games to play as an additional option to play and be able to have fun, get trophies, and unlock these characters. And then I can't wait to see what these characters say for the voice lines. It's going to be funny. So that's something else that I really am most excited for this game, the voice lines and the voice acting to see how these characters sound. And I'm gonna say it right now, they don't need all the original voice actors. There's plenty of talent out there. They don't have to get everybody playing the same characters, because some of these guys are not around anymore and passed on, unfortunately. But there's other talent out there to play these characters and play, to voice act these characters, to get the lines done. And I'm sure they can really sound good. Even though it's not gonna be their original selves, it's gonna be a little bit different. Because games like Battle for Bikini Bottom, the rehydrated remaster, Mr. Krabs wasn't himself. It was somebody different. But let me know what you guys think. Just some of these items and maybe some characters y'all want to see when you guys think you might see the trailer. I think it's gonna be out maybe by around Gamescom, maybe in the next coming days. Maybe they'll bring it out next week. Who knows?